everybody? Once again, welcome to an original style episode of the Super Suck Hour. My name is the Super Sucklord. Today we have a special guest in the studio, Hanksy.
Whoa!
Hey, there he is. Jcorp in the studio again, and back by popular demand after a depressing absence is Mr. Nasty Neil. Yeah, you got stranded out there in the middle of fucking nowhere, and you missed 4 episodes. Well, we did an on the road episode last week.
Yeah.
So
I didn't get an invite to that anyway.
We were in the fucking deep in the ass of Rutland, Vermont, and I think you would have got weirded out there.
Trust me,
How do you do in the deep rural country?
I'm very cultured, man. I could be fucking in the hood or in the sticks, man.
Yeah, but you couldn't wear those nice sneakers out there.
Anything I want, man.
Okay, I'm just saying.
On those squirrels.
Anyway, I just want to apologize to everybody for my nakedness, but it is one of those dog-ass motherfucking days in New York City, and I don't give a fuck. It's so fucking hot. It's like
1,000 degrees in this place.
It's the type of fucking heat that you take personally, you know, right?
He was saying earlier, he was like, yo, I was like, man, this fucking heat, man. It was literally taking it personally. It was.
Yeah, it's just like things are hard enough, and then this weather has to come and just like take you on personally and just make your life more difficult, you know. And it's just like all the when like you get that you're covered with a layer of film, and then like you lay on the floor of your studio, and then you stand up and your back is covered with like crumbs and just dirt and bits, and it just like. I just want to fucking kill myself. But anyway, we're back. We've been like flailing all over the place. We did a Patreon episode, we did a on the road episode, and then we did 3 episodes without Neil's important voice in the conversation. There was a lot.
I apologize for that.
Yeah, well, blame that on the crumbling infrastructure of this fucking hellscape. You know, I mean, the only thing about this hot weather that I like is that it's like ushering in the demise of humanity, and these motherfuckers need to get out.
Nobody's wearing much clothes,
awful
so that's
people.
Good for
everyone. Yeah, but everybody looks like shit too. That's like that time. You look good. You look good. I don't know how you pull it off, because it's like I'll take 10 showers, leave the house, and I'll be wearing like a tank top and some shorts, and like 2 minutes out the door, and I'm like. Yeah. And then I look at some of these people, these dudes, these women, and they got like their little outfits on, and they don't seem to be cracking a sweat. How do you do that? How do you pull that off?
It's by birth, you know.
Whatever.
He's born with it, you're not.
I got enough merits that I don't need to be walking around looking like a fucking.
If anyone wants to see the Sucklord in not a lot of clothes, go look at his Instagram.
It's
his
just
last post.
It's funny hilarious. Though, because it's like I put up all my most important, significant, meaningful artwork, and I'll get X amount of likes, X amount of views, and then suddenly there's just like this glorified dick pic. It's a dick movie, and everybody's all over it. So I'm obviously in the wrong business. It's nice to know though, because it's like of all the like 40 comments I got on the video, nobody criticized my dick size. So maybe it's all in my head. So anyway, we don't have any fucking sponsors or anything. You know, we just want you to give us money on the Patreon account. That shit ain't up to speed yet. I'm sorry.
We need an AC ASAP.
Yeah,
so
that shit ain't up to speed. I appreciate all the support, but you need to step it up. You know, we're going after the big success here, and that's why we got this guy over here.
Oh, yeah.
You're known for success. Hanksy, Tom Hanksy, is that your name? Hanksy, your name is Hanksy. Okay, now don't get offended if the line of questioning gets a little probing. You can handle it.
Yeah, I'm gonna.
First of all, before you're some, I know how you can be. You're some kind of artist, and we're gonna figure out what sort of artist you are during the course of the hour. The first question I gotta ask you is, what's with the fucking mask, man?
You know, I don't know. It's like I'm anonymous because
why?
It's all part of that. When I started like kind of doing art in the streets, it was like kind of the shtick that I was gonna go with, the anonymous, mysterious street artist.
Yeah, I think there's this guy named Banksy.
Yeah,
that does that. Have you heard of him?
About that guy.
Yeah.
And that's
about that guy.
No, he's the king.
Has he ever beafed with you?
No, I don't think so.
You don't have to
Then you're not doing it.
I'm not doing it right then?
No. No.
No, it's so I don't know. It's more more of a whole shtick and a whole thing I do. Like my
aren't there like real graffiti artists that would beat your ass if they knew who you were?
I've gotten so many physical threats and
really
yeah.
Why is that?
I don't know. I have no idea, man.
But you've heard things.
Yeah, I mean, I would think maybe even coming from you, I'm sure back in the day or even recently, you've probably said some pretty mean stuff about me.
No, not mean.
Oh,
no, not mean. Not mean. I just gave my opinion. No, I think you're great. I wouldn't have you on my show if I thought you sucked, and I just wanted to ridicule you. You know,
Cool.
It's like I think you've accomplished something.
I didn't know if this was a trap.
No, it's not a trap at all. But I mean, so really, the only reason why you're covering your face now is just to maintain this sort of shtick.
Yeah, I mean, there's also, I just think it's kind of funny, like, my identity, or whatever you want to call it, is like the worst kept secret in Chinatown, Lower Manhattan, like, but I keep up the charade just because it's the gimmick.
Is there going to be some big reveal at some point?
If people actually cared, maybe, but I don't think, people would care that much.
Okay, well, if I could refresh your memory, it's like we discussed you were going to do the big reveal on this show, and then you rescinded that offer and said something to the effect of, well, if I'm going to reveal myself, it should be like in the New York Times or something like that. So either obviously people do. Did you not say that?
No, I actually thought about that on my way over here.
You did say that.
Yeah, but you were pretty buzzed that night too. It was at an opening.
Well,
and it was an off-the-cuff remark, and I said, truthfully, if I was gonna do this, do you think no offense, but maybe I would try to, I'm all about marketing and PR. I'm like, I would try to make a big hoopla out of it.
Yeah, I know, and this is still a bit of an underground affair, and I thought that was a smart decision. I thought I had a scoop, and I thought you were gonna like waste your opportunity to reveal yourself on my, my little podunk of a show, and then you wised up. But the thing is, either you were totally joking, or you do think that there is actually some currency in your identity.
I don't think there is, but it's a card that I still have that I have yet to play. So
right,
yeah.
and I'm sure like you being the clever marketing whiz that you are could get the maximum value of it. I mean, you've made a lot of hay off of this thing that you're doing.
I know.
Let's just roll it back a little bit, and just in case people who don't know, what's the origin of the Hanksy operation?
I think it started. I've been in New York about 5 years, and literally I started putting up posters like the second week I moved here. And
is that something you'd never done before?
I had never done anything more than stickers and stuff like that.
Were you an artist already?
No, my
you
dream,
weren't an artist?
I wasn't an artist. I don't know.
What were you before you were Hanksy? You're from where?
The Midwest.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
And you came to New York for what?
Yeah. I was in marketing, and I got transferred here.
Oh, so you were working for some company or something?
I was working for the man, and then I got transferred here, and they laid me off. That man laid me off after 2 weeks. So
he transferred you here and then laid you off. And
yeah,
left
but
you
you want to know what? It's like they paid for me to come here, and I wanted to move to New York, so I was, it was the best situation.
Okay, and you had never done any sort of artwork before in your life?
It's weird. It's like growing up.
Not even like as a hobby?
Yeah, growing up, all I wanted to do was I wanted to be an illustrator, like a hand-drawn illustrator for Disney. That's what I wanted to do. Yeah, that's
Disney.
like
Sick.
And that's like go to my parents' house, and on the wall are like, just cartoons that I drew that's all I did. And then they switched everything over to computers and like CGI, Pixar, whatever. And then I was like, you know what? It was that in high school art class. High school art class made me hate art, so I dropped out.
Yeah, it was
What happened?
they
They
forced you to
discouraged you,
fucking
or-
do art their way. And
Yeah,
shit.
it's like home. Yeah, like you're not doing it right. Well, how are you supposed to say what's right and what's wrong?
Yeah. You can't teach somebody how to do it. You can teach them
comes from-
techniques, but not how to.
That's
You know?
right.
So I always tell my art teacher that too. I'm like, you got to do it this way. No, fuck you.
Yeah.
You do it that way.
It depends on what sort of art you want to make.
No mistakes.
And I still aced my art
Happy
classes.
accidents.
Yeah, I failed my first art class in college.
Really?
Yep, drawing. I failed, and then I switched out of art for 3 years,
Oh.
and then I got back into it when
See? When you needed to, right? Like,
It was a really circuitous story, but it's not about me, believe it or not. But okay, so you're here in New York. You're stranded here in New York. You have nothing to do, and then you decide to put a poster up on the street.
Yeah, it was.
What was the poster?
Well, so I hadn't from 17. I hadn't touched painted a picture, drew a picture, probably not, maybe a doodle here and there, but for almost 10 years. And then I was writing a freelance article when I moved to New York because I was a journalist back then. And I was always come up with these jokes, and I was like, oh, this is pretty funny. Big fan of Tom Hanks. Always big fan of Tom Hanks. I was like, and Banksy had just come out with Exit Through the Gift Shop. He's doing the whole award ceremony rollout, and I was like, oh, this is funny. Banksy plus Tom Hanks, Hanksy, that's funny. Okay, so I drew a picture because like this would be even funnier if it was on the wall outside, and I put it up there. I was pretty drunk that night, and the next morning someone had taken a picture and sent it off to Wooster Collective, I think. I don't know if they were still around, but
what exactly was that first image?
It was just a famous Banksy's famous rat with Tom Hanks' face on it. That was super simple.
Got it.
That's it.
Okay, got it. Almost like a one joke, a one punch joke, and yet
right.
somehow
I was able to finagle and trick people into extending this into a career. But someone took a picture, sent it to the website, and it kind of went viral as things do these days. It's big for 1 minute and then everyone forgets about it. But I'm like, well, if I keep kind of doing this to give myself a laugh and everything, let's just see where it goes.
So you just made more stupid jokes.
I made more stupid jokes, and then I decided maybe one a month I would draw something new and put it up. Always Banksy ripoffs with Tom Hanks incorporated into it.
It's kind of like a bootlegger, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a bootleg. I mean, you're bootlegging. You're like a sort of like a counterfeit of another artist.
Yeah.
I mean, I guess
it's cleverly done, though.
I mean, I'm surprised that you got as much mileage out of it because to some it seems like a novelty act.
Well,
but
I mean, I agree with you. And after about 6 months, I was pretty tired of it. It's like, good, gotta laugh. The horse is dead. I beat the horse too many times. And so I'm done. But then someone came up to me in a fucking bar right up the street and was like, saw me give someone a sticker. I was like, who's that? I was like, oh, that's my friend. And it happened to be the kid that asked me. It happened to be a gallery director on Orchard, and he's like, come in. He gave me a one night show. I never thought I'd fucking have a show. Wow. That one night turned into like a 2-week run, and then that sold out. And I was like, okay. Then I just started like, maybe this could fucking be something. Yeah. And then I'm always trying to adapt and alter and grow for my own amusement and because I know everything has a shelf life.
So how long has this been a thing now?
This is almost exactly 5 years I've been doing it since I put up my first poster.
So you managed to milk 5 years out of it, and I'm guessing that's still. It's still going, or where? I mean, you've had a lot of success. You did that great show last year.
Yeah.
What the fuck was it called again? On
Best of the Worst.
Best of the Worst, where it was like a real art show.
It was amazing. It was amazing. The turnout was great.
Yeah.
I mean, also working with you guys was actually
that was
so
the
much
first time
fun.
we kind of.
Yeah, I mean, it was what was really great about it. What I thought was really made it different from a lot of other shows was that they had not only artwork, right? They had a dumpling shop. There was like a ramp in there. They were like a photo booth, like a couple of like video game machines.
That's kind of have to do it now. You have to make like kind of an immersive experience in order to, like, it has to be an event.
Exactly. No, because you know what? I'd rather sit at home in my underwear in my AC and look at a high quality picture on my computer, on a piece of art, or on my phone. I don't have to go to the fucking show and see people I don't want to see, shake their hand, piss in their pocket. So what are you going to get? At any given night in New York, there's 20 openings, 100 openings.
Right.
So you have to entice them. What are you going to do that's different? You got to do something that's out of the ordinary. And that's basically what I've been trying to do for the last 5 years. And now I'm able... resources have become available, and I'm able to do more things. So, yeah.
Well, that's great. So, what are these things you're gonna do?
I'm hyped about this one. I don't know if you want to talk about it.
No, it's fine. I'm excited. I've been working on it for almost a year now. No, it's there's no way we can just like take the camera off and I can just talk normally without showing my face, or no?
Oh, we can just cut to someone else, right?
So you want to, for the rest of the episode?
Well, maybe for like 5 minutes
What,
and
you
have a
getting
drink of
hot?
beer or something.
Oh, yeah. I mean, if you take the mask off, I'll cut to another camera in the edit. But it's like if you're making a salient point,
Yeah,
you
I'm gonna
should
keep it on.
But
Okay.
yeah, but if you want to stop for a second and take a sip of beer, go ahead. I see what he looks like. Is he cute, Jcorp? Is he cute?
He's pretty cute.
All right, I'll take it. Thank you. It's the heat playing tricks in your mind.
Yeah, I know. Sorry.
So no, I love the heat.
I hate it.
It's actually when I grew up in a big old farmhouse, and we didn't have AC or anything like that. There's something called like cross ventilation or a cross breeze. You know, you open up one door, you open another door.
Sometimes it
Sucklord,
works.
you gotta get that in here.
I opened everything up, and it was just
It doesn't happen
thick,
like that.
disgusting air coming in.
This is Manhattan.
Yeah.
Shit ain't happening.
Shit, I open up those windows, and there's just like one day there's just like a layer of just crust and soot all over everything.
And the bus stop's right outside.
Yeah, it's great. We love
It's
it.
great.
Okay, go on. This big
house.
thing you've been working
It's
on
not
for
a
a
big
year.
thing, but it's kind of cool. I'm excited. So a few years ago, we did this illegal show in the East Village. Took over a giant building, called it Surplus Candy. It was like 45, 50 artists. Had it open for one night. Did it all illegal. A bunch of people came. Great. And they were like, let's do that again. So we did it in LA. Found this big old 100-year-old mansion, 30 rooms. Had been abandoned. And so some people flew out. I went out there, just scouted locations. Like I just drove around, and it was weird.
Because you guys had I was actually so happy to be a part of the LA project, which was like a really fun time. It was like a whole week's worth of I met some people I could never have met before, and you guys had a lot of things going on too. You had a drone, I think. Did you? Were you?
Well,
guys shooting with
I was like, okay, well, let's do this. It's only going to exist for. We brought in 90 artists. We painted for 5 days in a secret location, and then we revealed the address, and like 2,500 people came in 2 hours. It was insane.
Wow.
Yeah, and then the next day we painted it all back. So it's this very hyper transitory thing. Giant murals in every room. The whole house is completely transformed. The hashtag's called Surplus Candy. There's a shit.
What is it again?
Surplus Candy. So look that on Instagram. So that was great. Great event. But we had
And you painted it all back to normal after?
Yeah, all whitewashed it. So it's
God, why go through
I kind
all
of
the
like
trouble?
this like it's there and it's not. It's like this hyper transitory thing. You can make your friends jealous by you being there. It's and it's kind of these things that like everything exists forever now, unless you were there and you were able to
So you
experience it.
deleted the show.
Yeah, but the thing is now deleted. We had the forethought to bring in a virtual reality camera. So we built this, we Jimmy rigged this 6 GoPro
this sounds crazy.
thing, and we did every room. So we captured the content. We didn't know what we were going to do with it but grab the content, get it, and then because you're never going to be able to get it again. Now, once it's gone, it's gone. Maybe you use it in the future, maybe not. But we did use it. Got this. We're building this app, this 3D app, VR app that you're able to explore each room at your leisure. You can jump rooms and you can see all the art and like nice quality 4K high resolution.
Oh, that's nice.
Yeah. So next month we're gonna do like a little release and get a nice big space. We have a little short mini doc from the Dega Boys that's gonna be there. So yeah, it's never really been done before. It's like a virtual reality art show, especially one that had 1 foot in real life and 1 foot in internet. So it's gonna be great. So
Wow, that's cool. Good for you.
yeah.
I mean, the thing is, like during that show, I want to talk a little more about it because I was part of it. But
Yeah.
the funny thing about it is that there was one designated route, right? So all of the crowd would come in and they would take one specific route in and out, of the rooms, and they would come out. And first of all, I've never seen like thousands of people organized in this kind of way before. I was incredibly impressed. Like, and people were drunk too, and they were
all behaving themselves.
And they were all behaving
following the rules.
themselves and everything, And actually, I think there was a party going on next door as well. So people were kind of doing this back and forth thing.
Yeah.
But the
Like just crashing the party?
No, I think I don't know if they threw the party with you guys.
They throw this massive old mansion that's been like, hundreds of movies have been shot there. You probably recognize, but he came and he's like, I want to have an after party. I was like, all right, great. Because, big ass house. We didn't want people, that's how we had a route. We wanted to get him in and out. It's only going to be open for 2 hours. Let people have a chance to see it, So we had to go through the
Did you
route.
hire security?
Had to hire security. We Disneyland the backyard, ropes back and forth. It was pretty intense.
It was actually there were a lot of people, and I think the party next door definitely made a lot of money, right? But also just the fact that everyone was aware that the show was going to be taken down, and how many people drove out immediately after, like, it was released 2 hours before, and that was and just the fact that I guess the whole setup was very much like a ride. And what I was going with that is that the VR app is going to allow people, the viewer, to be able to take their time and actually walk through in a different sequence than what you guys had. When I walked through the space while I was painting, I was able to kind of like feel out the architecture. There were some rooms that weren't explored, yet, they were like this dilapidated bathtub toilet thing.
Yeah.
And the rooftop had this amazing view. So actually, I'm really excited that the work can be even more explored like that. That it wouldn't have to. You could go upstairs and back down, and you can maybe hopefully if you catch enough of the details to look at even like the size of the columns from the stairs going back up. Like I saw. I saw some stuff over there.
She's really liking that. You're having a
go
good time
ahead.
out
Keep
there, man.
milking
Yeah.
it. Go ahead.
No,
come on, give it to
sure.
me, Jcorp.
You want to sit next to him while you?
Well, no, I mean, this is my job over here.
Yeah, but I'm
um,
saying maybe you could add a little. But anyway.
Oh, come on.
I'm just saying. Like, I think that, like, I've never worked with a project like that before, and just that, I hate to tell this Catch 4 story, but I've told this before. But,
Just do it.
And well, what had happened was while I was painting there, I had asked you guys to board up the windows that was in the bedroom, so that because I arrived a little bit late, a lot of spaces were taken. So I was like, if you board up these windows, I could paint a painting in there. And what I had not anticipated was that obviously it was a bedroom, and if the windows were boarded up, there was going to be no ventilation, right? So the cloud of spray dust starts building, and it becomes very misty. And out of like taking a break, I look outside, and there's this man, this flesh-colored, like topless, like man standing there, just relaxing right outside the door that I was looking at. And I just thought like I was hallucinating, because why am I seeing a naked man? And this person was very relaxed, had a hat on, and just like chilling. And I was like, whoa, like I'm in this.
And it was
dust,
Sucklord.
Yeah, he didn't look quite like that, but if y'all want to know, I'm still pushing that video on Instagram.
Just get to the point.
But okay, so I looked, and I was like, I looked down and up and down a couple of times, and I was like, okay, he's flesh colored the whole way. Doesn't mean he's not wearing any pants, right? So I was like, I gotta investigate. So I like dig through the closet a little bit, but looking as nonchalant as possible. And I go out there, and I see like he literally, as I like go through the doorway, he must have sensed my presence and walked away. And he went down these stairs, and I was like, oh, he's wearing pants. So what it was he was wearing these like flesh-colored pants. So I hallucinated the whole thing. But I was like, yo, who is this guy? I had to follow him. And I noticed that he went down the stairs from the third to the second floor. There was this like wooden staircase. And I saw him crouch down, and he was writing on the side of the column. And I was like, oh, word, I'm going to find out who he is. And I go behind him, and I see he's finishing the H, and it says Cash 4. And I was like, oh, yo, I've been looking at this guy's work for like years. And I like quickly checked myself. I was like, well, my hair is all messed up.
Oh my god.
I had all of the stuff. And I like, out of this total fangirl, like super, like whatever, I like backed up like real slow, and I just like went upstairs, and I've been telling everyone the story, but I still have not met this guy. So
What do you mean he was
Cash,
right?
if you're watching this.
What are you talking about? So Cash for Smells, some guy whose dick you're on, was standing there in front of you in flesh-colored pants, and you were on equal footing with him because you were also a participant in the show.
True,
and
but-
you didn't go up to him and
You're both from New York City.
Get
both
whatever-
flew out there.
Get whatever you needed to get
but,
out of
I
that?
was so overwhelmed by that visual at first. I just thought I would completely.
It sounds like a great time, and I missed it. So everybody
How you,
really
man?
loved that fucking show that you did, didn't they?
Everyone loved it.
Not everybody loves you though, do they?
No, actually, a lot of people didn't like. There's some people who got all my dick about destroying this old massive mansion, and how dare we come in with our art and fuck it up. And it was a 100-year-old house, and it is very historic looking. It's great.
But it had lain fallow, hadn't it?
It had, but also they're like, what these people didn't understand is like the entire place was burned to a crisp in the 80s, so any surface that we painted was like 30-year-old drywall. And you know how they did homes in the 80s. It's like just drywall everywhere. So it just painted right over. So, anyways, so yeah, so not everyone liked that show, but majority of people did. So.
Well, I think you did. I think you did magnificent stuff with that. But
the people that probably didn't like it were probably mad old anyway.
Yeah. There's some TV channel called Ovation TV. It's basically like a cable art show or art channel.
I get right, but okay.
They filmed a miniseries.
But
on it,
aren't you also in a wider picture kind of regarded by some as like single-handedly ruining graffiti and street art forever?
Well,
aren't there some who would say things like that?
If I can get a button that says that or a T-shirt, yeah.
Yeah, right.
Sure.
I mean, like, do you get problems in the streets? Like,
yeah,
people
when they
don't
tell me that, I say fuck you. No.
Really? No, seriously. What sort of criticisms do you get from like graffiti guys or other street guys?
I mean, I
your
would argue
stuff's
that
a little fun and playful and happy,
yeah.
And some people are a little too serious for that kind of shit. Don't you get critique for that?
Everyone's got their own opinion, and you can hate on me. That's fine.
How does it make you feel?
It gets me down a little bit. I don't care.
Really?
I mean, would it
you don't care, or it gets you down?
No. I would say that at first it's just like, dude, just lighten up. And now it's me just doing my own thing.
Gives a fuck, man.
I have enough.
Do whatever
support,
you want.
Yeah.
I'm just asking as a point of interest to spring into like a larger conversation about what street art means. So this isn't necessarily like me asking you to defend yourself against your haters. I'm just wondering, because what you do is a little different than like what has been considered, street art to some people. And I'm just curious, like, just like in your experience, being in a position where, your stuff's been a little more accessible than a lot of things. And also you've had certain types of like attention that other people don't get. And I'm just like wondering, like, after your time in the fields, so to speak, like just like what your takeaway is from just like the culture of street art and just like how you see where you fit in with that, and just like what's been your interactions with other people in that universe, because it's like people take that shit real personally.
I'd say I don't do anything better than anyone else. For me, it's always been activity breeds activity. I'm out there doing things. I'm constantly working on stuff. So I meet people. I get, if you're sitting at home, dude, just doing your drawings every day and you're not getting out there or anything, no one's going to come shine a light on you.
Right.
I'd rather swim towards something than just float with the tide. You can quote that. I don't know.
I was actually thinking about. I should do that. I should be thinking about that.
I was thinking the same shit.
Well, no, I mean everybody has their own drift and everything like that. So it's like it's good to hear about people
I would throw shade at myself as well if I wasn't me.
Why?
Because it is true. I did kind of literally what I said earlier in the interview. Moved to New York. 2 weeks later, I put up my first piece, and that's the piece that was like went viral, and then I just been playing catch up ever since.
Right.
I came out of nowhere, didn't go to art school, didn't do, for 10 years of my kind of semi-adult life, I had been trying to do creative shit and throwing something against the wall.
And you had a success doing something that other people have been grinding on for years.
Exactly.
And you had it immediately. And you think people are mad at you because of that?
I would be too,
right?
Yeah, I would.
It definitely makes sense.
Yeah, so I get it. And is it justified? I mean, you could look at an angle and say, yeah, it's
But you had you couldn't help it regardless.
I would, if I didn't take the opportunity and continue going with it, I'd be an idiot, so.
Yeah, of course you would. I mean, I'm not saying that people hating on you is justified. I'm just like
but
wondering
also,
if you got any juicy stories about people, trying to really fuck you
up. That guy
up.
wanted to fuck me up.
Who
now
did?
We're like best buds.
Who did?
Russell King.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I mean, I think this was. I always tell the story that he. I remember he. Usually I don't cite his name, but.
Well, you already did.
But we're friends now.
Okay.
So he's a good guy and he's a good artist. I think he commented, and the one I keep repeating is like, I wouldn't piss on him. I wouldn't piss on Hanksy if he was on fire.
That's kind of a cliche thing to say.
Yeah, that's pretty funny. I was like, okay, I got it.
He said that on one of your photos on Instagram, or?
I think so. I think I might have actually started the beat. I don't know. It was one.
Did you actually go over him or do anything weird, like on the streets?
It had parts of it that like there was
you side busted him
a little bit, and it was just some funny drama that's like it only existed because of the internet. So.
Right, I understand. Well, I mean, the internet has definitely magnified the practice of graffiti beef to a new level.
Oh yeah.
Instagram gangsters, is that a thing?
Yeah.
It is now.
Right. I mean,
I would.
Keyboard
studio
gangsters.
gangsters. Yeah, keyboard gangsters.
Just to wrap up that point, I would I'd argue that street art was so watered down by the time I emerged. It's like I didn't.
You almost called attention to it. It's
Yeah,
like if this
I mean-
crap can fly, then you know this stuff must be dead.
Yeah, I mean, I still love street art. I still love illegal street art. I love murals, which is basically wallpaper now, you know. But
Thanks.
everyone can do somber and serene better than I could. I'm not a good artist, you know.
I don't know about that.
But I'll leave it to them and let me. I'd rather put a smile on someone's face than like, you know, if you're having a shitty ass day in your Chinatown apartment under, you know, hot lights and you
Yeah,
walk
no, it's
outside and you see a little funny fucking poster on the wall or murals that I painted
Well,
and it makes you smile, then that's good.
Yeah,
right?
sure. That's fine. That's not for everybody. You know, I mean, some of the jokes are a little silly. Not for me. But your line work is really nice. It's very distinctive. I mean, you could tell when you've done it, you know, because of your approach. And it's like, I guess another thing I wanted to ask you, because it's like, and I've seen a few things on your Instagram where you suggested that you were maybe kind of sick of that approach, or you wanted to do something different, or you wanted to take it somewhere
Yeah.
else. I mean, I mean, I've gone through those kind of things in my own work all the time, where I've like wanted to throw everything out and then go back and take the good parts, and then here I am back on my nostalgia tour, back where my old shit used to look like, and now I want to do something different. And it's just like wondering, like, where are you at as far as that's concerned? It's like, what do you want your work to be now? It's like, do you find that now that you've built up this Hanksy thing, that you have this sort of like love-hate relationship with it?
Yeah,
You want to kill it, but it also feeds you. So like,
I didn't do
where you at?
anything. I've never done anything that I didn't enjoy myself, or didn't make me laugh, or you know, there was always a rhyme and reason to it. Like, but I've been doing it for 5 years, and I know that's a small section in the overall grand scheme of life. But when it's your only thing you're doing every day for 5 years, you can grow tired of it. I got to the point where, oh man, I'm in LA. Oh fuck, I better fucking paint up some posters. I better do something. I'm in LA. Got to make the most of it. Oh, it's 11:30, but I'm having fun with my friends. Sorry guys, I hate it. I like doing street art because I enjoyed it, and I like the aspect of going out. I don't feel like I ever had to do it, and I started it towards the end. The last year and a half, I felt like I have to do it.
It's like a job now.
Yeah, and it's like that's lame. And but going back earlier, I also said like everything's got a shelf life. I mean, the reason I dropped the real Banksy stuff after 6 months is because I was getting tired of it, and people getting tired of it. Like, you just always got to keep evolving and growing. I had a really good, nice 5-year run. I could take that 5 years and stretch it out for another 5, 10, and that would be fine. But I just want to evolve and keep growing and keep myself excited.
What does that evolution look like, though? That's the question I'm asking. You know, like what are you trying to do differently?
You know what? Every piece of art I've ever created was for something, for a client, for a show. It was always. I always had a deadline. I never just.
It was for a specific wall, or you know.
Never painted or drew to just paint or draw. It was always for something. So, you know, I said I hadn't done any art for 10 years before I put up my first poster. I never had any time to evolve or grow or anything like that. I just kind of been keeping my head above water the last 5 years. So I kind of made a conscious decision after the show in LA. You know, I got a nice studio. It's near my apartment. It's right around the block here, actually. And I was like, I'm just not going to do anything outside of my own projects for the next year, maybe. And I'm not going to jump on that group show. I'm not going to, you know, participate in this auction or anything. I'm just going to paint the paint. And I was on for about 2 months there. I was on doing a painting a day, 3x4 feet.
So what do these paintings look like?
I mean, they're still lighthearted. They're not. There's no celebrities in them. You know, there's no puns. I mean, there might be a pun, but
are there words and wordplay?
There's some wordplay, but it's more visual. It's basically like expensive boutique hotel art. There you go. And that's what's making me happy right now. I got some big projects coming up, some ad busts that are gonna go up in the next couple months. But
what do you mean? What's an ad bust?
Just more like, you know, go down to the subway,
put a piece over changing the meaning of it.
Yeah.
That wacky pack shit.
Yeah. So we'll see. More thought out rather than here's a quick one-liner topical joke that's gonna get me 5,000 likes on Instagram.
Okay, and
which is good too.
He said easily.
And is that what makes you happy? The likes?
I do it all for the likes. No, it doesn't, but it is part of it, and you can't.
It partially.
The virality is a fucking drug, and you chase it. Like you want it. You want to get on the fucking Facebook.
Do you think is that wrong though? Do you feel like on some level? And I'm just asking rhetorically because I do exactly the same thing.
Yeah.
I'm just asking you the same questions I would ask myself. Do you think in some way that undervalues a piece of work or a practice, or is it like we live in this culture now where we're so hooked on attention that we don't even know. Sometimes we forget why we're even doing what the fuck it is we're doing, and looking for that. I'm not going to show your fucking face. You're too pretty. You'd break the camera. Just wondering, how one deals with that. Because personally, I've framed myself as a megalomaniac, a supervillain, and I've been very naked about liking that shit. And I go for it, but and it's like sometimes at the expense of my own, my own sort of self-regard, because like you just said you're not a good artist. You've described yourself as a fartist, or you've always sort of poked fun at yourself as being a good artist. And I'm just wondering, is that something you truly believe, or is that just something you use to,
well, it's like
put around yourself?
It's like the 8 Mile and the Eminem like battle at the end. If you say all the shit about yourself, then no one can hurt you, man.
Okay, fine.
So there's part of that. I think now in 2016. It's a lot different than it was 10 years ago. You can be the most skilled artist, photorealistic painter, but if you're just sitting in your studio deep in Brooklyn and just producing work, very rarely are you going to get noticed.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe
assuming getting noticed is important.
Well, yeah, if you're going to be a full-time artist, you kind of have to make money, and you have to,
No, not necessarily. You can have a job and just do art purely for art's sake.
Yeah. No, that's true.
I've just.
I know you're playing devil's advocate. I'm just saying.
Yeah.
There's
exactly.
so many things you have to do now. It's not just 95% talent and 5% marketing. It's marketing takes. It's a huge percentage of my life.
In some ways, it's all marketing. It's like the art itself doesn't really exist. It's the commercial for the art is the actual art.
When you were asking him about the street art graffiti beef, right? And to be honest, like sure, that's one part of your work, but I see the Hanksy effort as larger than just being on the street. There's a huge internet component to it. There's a huge event component to it, and there's a huge sort of marketing, like you said, and in general, sort of like rewarding your followers and all of that aspect to do with it. Then it's like sure, there's beef on the street about certain particular work, but I see it's a much larger operation than that.
Thank you. But I also the way I traveled and got to that position was because I knew I was a bad artist, so I knew I had to beef it up with all this other shit, But that's what it's like. And it's also responsive, like, I do get a lot of shade, man. But if I keep doing bad stuff, people are gonna be like, yeah, I hate his art, but he's not that bad of a guy.
The thing is, like, I generally hear that the hate, if I ever hear any, is sort of just surrounding, not about the work, but surrounding the following, right? It's just usually like, whoa, this guy, like, Hanksy, that's a clever joke once, but then how is it that he has like 103K followers, like,
And I don't,
which is the key word, right?
Yeah, that's the most important part.
Right, because like just like we did last week with 3 weeks ago with Buff Monster.
He's part of the Illuminati.
Right? Are you? You don't say anything right now, but it's a lot more to do with the effort behind the scenes. I'm learning, behind the work than just the work itself. Like you said, you could be producing these studio fine art pieces that are like really incredible, but at the end of the day, like you said, you would still have a day job.
I guess so. I don't know. I would love to be independently wealthy, so I didn't have to rely on my work to make money. I think it would be totally different if I didn't do that. I often find myself making stuff just because I know it's going to sell, or I know it's going to be this. Like, a lot of times I've I've had some things that flop, or some work that people didn't understand, and a lot of it is kind of personal and self-referential and kind of inside, and it doesn't have that hook that gets it blown up, and then I'm starting to feel like, shit, this must be bad work. If people don't like it on Instagram, and it's like they don't understand what I'm doing, then it must be a failure. So the next thing I'm going to do, it's like, fuck what my instincts are and what I feel like pursuing. I'm going to make a thing that I know is going to be catchy. And it's like, I do that a lot.
So you got to find a balance.
Yeah, I guess. But it's just always so weird, just like when the initial impulse of a creative act is not to create or to just like, this is something I feel that needs to be expressed. It's more like, oh, well, another day at the office, got to make a toy to sell. What's hot today? What's the market doing? What's my inspiration based on all of that? And, sometimes it comes out great, sometimes it doesn't. Same with the personal work. But so it's just like, I don't know. It's just, I have no idea like what it would look like if I wasn't doing it for the hustle. And I'd love to fucking find out. So if you're following us on fucking Patreon and you want to up that shit to like $5,000 a month, you'll get the answer to that question. Recently, I went off the grid a little bit, and I was away from the office, and I was out in the woods doing whatever, and there was some cack involved. So, and that was like probably the most liberating thing that I've ever done in a long time. And it's like, if you give me more money, I will go off the fucking rails. Like, whatever you like about my work right now has been super tame and super controlled. But if you want to see a true madman, then go to patreon.com/thesucklord and donate $1,000 and
put me on TV too.
Get ready for that. We're gonna get you. I got plans for you, motherfucker. When we have our exercise and fitness show,
get the fuck.
I'm gonna make you do crazy ass shit. You're gonna do
it's
everything
illegal
from
to make
yoga
you sweat, and you're already breaking the law.
I'm gonna fucking
How much
do
is the
you
fine?
up real
$20,000.
We're gonna have hot chicks in tight outfits putting you through a workout routine. There's no way you're gonna on Fire Island. There's no way you're gonna say no to that.
Can I be a bystander on that? I like to see that.
Well, you're a celebrity, so I would put you on that. Sure.
Cool. And I'm a very active, athletic person too. So,
Okay, good. Yeah, I would love to explore all of that. If we had more money, we would be doing like artists doing athletics as a program.
Artist play sports.
Yeah, I think that's a great idea. We're starting the badminton league. I had some badminton success down at the park. The parties out in the park have been getting lit. The
Chinatown Nights.
Yeah, the Chinese old lady sound clashes have been getting hype. They have the linoleum floor out there right now, and some of the music they've been playing is crazy. It's not all that sort of just like marchy Chinese, waltzy shit. They've been playing like weird dubstep out there, like Chinese.
And they're synchronized dancing in the dub?
No, they're bugging out. There was a dude, like some fucking kung fu dude, and he was just like caterpillaring and crawling and on the grass and just rolling around. I mean, it's different now. So every Saturday night, we're gonna just set up the badminton shit, go out there with some beach chairs and some coolers, and just join that party. So be on the lookout for that. I think it's gonna be
sign me up.
Quite the thing to see.
When is this gonna be?
Saturday night.
Every Saturday, and it's for as long as it's still hot. Let's talk about that. You live in Chinatown, and you operate in Chinatown. You consider yourself to be a Chinatown artist, right?
Yeah.
As I do myself too.
Yeah.
I mean, Chinatown has been a huge part of my brand. It's one of the reasons why I like stick it out, and fucking have to deal with all the, expenses that are involved, is because it's like inherent to my brand and my personage. And I'm just curious, like, what is it about being in this area in particular that is attractive to you?
You know what? I lived in Bushwick, actually right next to Jcorp, for about 4 years. Right when I moved to New York and went there, I still had a studio down here.
Your studio was here and you lived in Bushwick?
Yeah, but it was like
is it the same studio you have now?
Yeah.
How did you get that studio in the first place?
A friend of a friend.
Okay,
Yeah,
so you weren't seeking out being in this neighborhood. You were just looking for a studio.
No, but I was also working, because believe it or not, it hasn't been gangbusters since day one. So I was working in a restaurant.
I don't believe it.
I know.
Is it gangbusters now?
It is. The gang has been busted. Yeah, it's doing good.
Good for you.
Yeah. I'm not making,
$1 million?
Sucklord money or Buff Monster money.
Okay,
So-
well, let's.
Yeah.
I know all the numbers, but I don't want to put them on the air. But
No, I don't know who makes money. I don't make.
So it's all relative. I'm as rich as I feel that day, says
Exactly.
Donald Trump. For every 10 stupid things he says, there's maybe half one thing that makes kind of sense, which is a tragedy. But we're gonna do a whole Donald
we're all
Trump
in agreement
episode.
that he's like sabotaging his campaign, right? Like
Purposefully?
Because he never wanted. I don't think he ever thought he was gonna be.
Yeah, I think he has some ties with.
Yeah, no,
Hillary,
you're right. I don't
he's
think people close to him have said that he never really intended or expected to be president. He was using it, like a lot of the other guys in the Republican primary, to boost his book sales and his profile and his show and all that shit. And he didn't realize he gets
matters anyway.
I don't think he's that. I don't
They're
think he's
just the puppets,
sabotaging
man.
it. I just think he's not trying.
Than the president.
What?
There's bigger people behind the president, behind the scenes that are just really making the moves. That's just the poster boy.
The real money in the world, like. Who's the big family, like the Rothschilds or something?
Yeah, the guy had fucking like 8 heart transplants, man.
Yeah, I mean they're not gonna let some guy come over
crazy.
4 years and fuck everything up. Like these are
there's a lot of mechanisms in place to make sure that the wrong person doesn't become the president.
But that's some conspiracy stuff. So I don't.
Well, no, I mean
I don't believe
the Electoral College is an example. That's built as a check against the voters. I mean, the whole American government is set up with the concept of checks and balances, and that's a check. It's just like a final filter that just in case, there's a dubious person, which, whatever.
But there is something really nice about living. So to get back, the reason I relocated permanently to Chinatown 100% is all my friends are here. The bars I go to are here. There's something very unique about the neighborhood. It's the last real gentrified, strong neighborhood in the city.
Yeah, but all your friends and all those nice bars will put an end to that quick as fuck.
If I was in here, it's gonna happen anyways. So.
Yeah, that's true.
Joy while last.
Yeah, I mean.
How often do you try to actually engage with the Chinese community?
I would say 50% of the people I talk to every day are Chinese. That's pretty good, right?
Yeah, that's a good deal.
And this is anybody from the lady Tina that works at the bodega to the mailman that delivers, every day. So it's more about working with the community than trying to change it. So.
I mean, there is a very strong sense of community in Chinatown, I found. I mean, I also work here. I'm also Chinese. But, from just knowing that my landlord, for example, has one plumber guy and he works several buildings in the neighborhood, right? I go to the bank and, the lady at the bank is speaking to a whole bunch of other people that she's familiar with. Like, I mean, I don't discount the fact that, I can see why, Sucklord would be so rude in this neighborhood. I mean, not only because you love Asian girls, but also because there is a real sense of community. Once you're in, you're kind of like, people are very accepting of you. When you show up every day, they just recognize you out of nowhere.
I don't know about that.
No, you don't think so?
I've had experiences, I've lived down in this neighborhood for over 10 years, and I've had the experience where, like, I've gone to the same business run by, like, a Chinese lady, and after 10 years, she's like, doesn't act like she knows me.
No, really?
Like, come
Chinese
on.
people are some rude ass motherfuckers.
No.
I gotta be honest with you, man. Sometimes
That's all people.
Well,
do.
no.
I think
you could also say that's the strong sense of community. They see you, white guy. What are you doing here? Like you're not Chinese.
and they have a right to question me, but
I think the fact that she keeps up the act of not knowing you is her way of the familiarity, right? Like
maybe. But I'm weird with people in general. It's like I don't like to know who my neighbors are. I don't like to have a friendship with the guy at the store downstairs, just because sometimes I'm in a state of mind where I don't really feel like.
You don't talk to Q?
I don't talk to anybody.
You don't go to the bike shop downstairs?
Yeah, I talk to him. Yeah, I know him. I've had drinks with him.
Right.
I mean, I'm not saying I'm against it,
I
but
got
it's
a
like
large coffee before.
I don't
think
go
the
out of
game
my
is
way
full.
to know my neighbors just because it's just like sometimes I come home and I'm in like either tripping or I'm in some weird. I like a nice big perimeter of privacy around me. It's like I don't like to know people that I see every day.
No way. Same here.
So maybe you're living in the exact neighborhood you should be.
I mean, I live in a fucking bubble. Yeah, I mean, it's like what I do like about Chinese people is they actually leave me the fuck alone and ignore me.
I had
and
a lady.
Don't try to be friends with me.
I had a lady
They don't need
pound
anything
on
from
my
me.
studio door once, and I come out in this little. I mean, I don't want to be offensive.
It's fine.
but She looked like 150 years old. I mean,
Wow.
she was so she couldn't speak any English, and all she was saying was like showing me her little fingers, and there was a mouse in her apartment. So I had to go. I bought traps for her. I laid out little peanut butter crackers, and I think she has since passed on a couple months ago.
Yeah,
the
that's-
lady, and I'm not. Maybe the mouse is still living, but I did my good deed.
Yeah, I know. I do my good deeds too. There's this. It's fucked up. I'm a horrible person because it's like there's this old lady that lives in my building. This ancient Chinese woman. I mean, and she's like a can picker type. Like, she's dirty and she's just like she's gonna die any day. But she lives on the 5th floor. And it's a fucking walk up. And like I see her sometimes, and she's got these bags, and her knees are fucked up, so she has to go only one step at a time. So she has to pick the bags up, put them on the stairs, one step, and it's like, oh, it's tedious watching that. So it's like when I see her, it's like I try to help her, and they never want any help. These old Chinese ladies, they got this pride to them where you have to force your help on them.
She probably thinks you're gonna rob her.
No, she just doesn't. People, I mean, like
they're very
self-sufficient, and they don't want to be seen as like being weak or helpless. But she's fucking. What is she gonna do? Like I can run those bags up the stairs in 30 seconds, where it would take her half an hour.
So instead of stepping on her, you just stepped over her. Right?
No, I take her shit. I carry it upstairs, and I pat her on the head. But sometimes I'm in a mood where it's just like I don't want to deal with that shit, and I'm coming home all drunk, and I see her going in the building, and I'm like, fuck.
You wait outside.
I wait until she's gone. I feel terrible about it, but it's just like, what? I'm just not in the mood to do that. But it's weird because I've been doing this for years and years and years. This woman, I help her, and she's thank you muchi. She's Taishan. She's thank you muchi. They really talk like that's a real thing. It's like, okay, cute. So she takes the thing, and then, but if I see her a block away from the house, she won't recognize me. Like, she does not recognize me. I think it's that Guilo thing. It's that fucking Guilo thing.
Guilo.
Right?
I mean,
what is that?
I recognize Guilo. That's a Cantonese word for white people.
But it means ghost,
like guys.
doesn't
It's
it?
a ghost.
Doesn't it mean
ghost
ghost?
person,
It means
like
round
ghost
that.
dude,
Right.
like ghost dude,
Yep.
And and I mean, I'm not saying you look generic at all, but
It's not about me. I just think
it's not about you.
I think there's certain
He's like, oh,
Chinese
I'm the hipster.
people that are so in this sort of lane that this sounds superstitious and weird, and I don't believe in this stuff, but I almost feel in a way they literally do not see you standing there. Like if you're not a Chinese person and you're standing there, like you do not appear in their visual scope. I truly believe that. It's like I've had people treat me like I wasn't even an object.
Who's talking? Wait, I can hear a voice. I don't know who's talking though. I can't see.
Like you ever go to the Deluxe Market up here on Mott Street? It's like this block long inside market, and it's just like you go in trying to buy shit, and it's it's a great store, but it's just like the way some of these old ladies behave. It's like they just push through. They don't even.
I've snapped.
You go to the restaurant.
I'm like, we're all trying to get the same place.
And they don't even hear you talking.
You go to the restaurant, you're online and shit, and they just go right past you.
Yeah, they just do. I think they do. It's not even like, oh fuck this guy, I'm gonna cut him. They just don't see you, or you're just like
You're a ghost.
object there.
Yeah.
You're a ghost. You're a fucking ghost.
And I get mad at that, but at the same time, it's like I've only lived 100% in here for about a year and a half, so I can't. I'm in their neighborhood.
I guess I'm kind of a masochist. I kind of like it.
If it makes you
It feels
any
right.
happier,
He loves the abuse.
It feels right.
they push past me too. So
Oh really? Why? Well, just
Do they
because.
spit on you?
no, they
I've
don't
gotten
spit on me. Do they
But
spit on you?
Well, no.
No, but they spit a lot, and I've gotten hit a few times.
Well, I think
Ooh.
also when
Who does?
Chinese people
It's like
take the way they
Yeah.
revere their elders, it's like it's big in Chinese culture to like, you take care of your parents, and when you get older, you're distinguished and you're entitled to do that kind of shit. It's like I've lived this long. I took care of my kids. I worked. I did my thing.
Fuck you, I'm old.
I'm allowed to push to the front of the fucking line. Fuck you. I lived this long. Right? Am I wrong?
It's
Am I right?
almost not even that complex. It's just I'm old, or not even, and it's just like I need to get from point A to point B. Fuck y'all, like straight over there.
I don't
mean,
know.
it's like the older you get, the more that feeling becomes stronger in you. I believe. I would think, but I don't think it's so much to do with entitled. Like, oh, I raised my kids, everything. It's just literally like I'm old now. I can do this.
But I've also heard from
Okay, fair enough.
from people from China, different regions of China where are more rude than others, and they actually look. There's like
Fuzhou.
inter. I don't want to be offensive here. So, but
Yeah,
like those people.
definitely.
Oh, those are they're from the mountains. And they're
Well,
rude.
no,
They have
all the
Oh.
people that live on this side of Chinatown are mostly Fuzhou people, and they're more like country villagey people. Whereas like the old established power structure in Chinatown is more like Cantonese people,
Yes,
and
yeah,
they've
yeah.
been here for a few generations from Hong Kong. And a lot of and they don't even speak the same. These guys speak Cantonese, and the Fuzhou people speak their own type of Mandarin. and they're a little more rougher around the edges. They're not necessarily been here as long, and they're not necessarily as urbane, and they have their own ways of doing things. They even have beef with each other. Like, there's all different people in this building. Like, they've been here for who knows long, but they still identify with, like, the village that they came from. And those people from that restaurant are from a different village, so we don't fuck with them, and it's like there's just so much complex beef that you just can't really understand. It played out a lot in the mall over there because the owners of the East Broadway Mall are Cantonese and all the tenants are Fuzhou, and there was a lot of miscommunications.
Yeah, they didn't like what each other wrote on the walls, and they were like, "Yo, fuck all this noise."
I don't know.
Went over each other and whatever.
I don't know. Yeah, it's just beef. Yeah, it's just beef. It's just a lot of beef.
Tale as old as time.
But anyway, Hanksy, it was really great having you. We're sort of coming to the close of this episode.
That's good.
How do you feel? How do you feel about it?
You know what? It was interesting having to, navigate through 4 different people talking. Sucklord, your persona can be abrasive, and I got to get used to it, and I like it.
Oh.
But I feel like we've come a long way since you stiffed a handshake for me at a Red Bull event.
Wait, I really? Wait, no, wait. Come on. Explain. Tell me the story, because I don't remember that.
Yeah, how did you guys meet?
We were painting. Remember Red Bull did this canvas cooler thing where you paint
Oh yeah, I
coolers?
remember that.
And Cosby had brought, and he's like, yeah, this is Hank. And he's like, I know who he is. And you didn't even you just walked away. I was like, all right.
Oh really? Oh, that's mean.
Oh, that sounds like
He really is an
He's
asshole.
like, no, he's like, I know who he is. And Cosby's like, no, he did like those cats in your alley. Remember?
Yeah,
and you're like, yeah, I know who he is. And I was like, all right, dude.
That sounds like
sorry.
Spot on too.
And the next time that I had an interaction with you was at that Rolling Stone video they made of my show on Delancey Street, and you in that you gave a questionable line, which I'm like, it's just speaking the truth. You should look it up. Rolling Stone, Best of the Worst. Google it. I don't know. It's like he makes a lot of silly shit. Maybe I'm just jealous, but it was like a backhanded compliment. Like, it could have been bad, but it was also like, that's just who you are.
I've had my own evolution in my relationship to you. You're right. I'm not gonna lie. Some of that stuff you were talking about, like the people that were mad at you and the reasons why they were mad, I was probably feeling those same things, and it's just like, and it wasn't because, and it really, at the end of the day, when a person is going through that, it really has almost nothing to do with the person they're mad at. It's
Absolutely.
because they're mad at where they are in life, and they're having trouble with it, and they look to other people to sort of like vent their frustration with themselves. So I might have been guilty of that.
But everyone's guilty of that. I'm guilty of that.
Yeah,
I mean,
and you just happen
are.
to be the guy that at that moment was,
It was a great quote.
receiving that. But but over time, I've changed as a person. I've gotten more comfortable with myself and where I'm at life, and also, and I've got to know you as a person, and I've looked at your oeuvre, over a longer period of time, and I've come to appreciate what you do. I wouldn't invite you on the show if I didn't think you were cool, and I didn't like what you did. So
thanks, man.
If I've been mad at a lot of shit over my life, and it's like a big part of myself just trying to become a better person is like not being mad, and it's like it doesn't. This sounds like obvious, but it's like when you're in a hater mode, it's just like someone else doing well isn't preventing you from doing well. It's like
exactly.
And it's just like. And it just doesn't do you any good to be a hater. So, it's like, I think you're great. I think you actually are a good artist. And I'm curious to see what you do next. I think what you've done is quite brilliant.
What is the next what's the biggest thing you want to do? Everybody has like a dream project.
Yeah, you know what? I don't. No, there's just material stepping stones that I want to hit. Like I fucking did that. I did this. I did that. It's like they don't really mean anything, but it's my own personal benchmarks that I want to hit. So I don't know. I have this big VR.
Mean materials or what you're saying?
I was like material meaning like it's not like I want to sell out this or want to sell this. It's just like these goals that don't really mean anything.
Would you ever do it? How come you've never made a toy? Or have you?
I haven't made a toy. I've been thinking.
Your stuff is very toyetic, as they say.
I just don't have the. I don't have the resources right now. Well, yeah, we should do it.
Oh shit!
You heard it here. Did you just drop something? pick that mic up.
I'm just saying, like, I think
Miller soon.
all those silly, punny, cartoony things that you put up on the street over the years, all of those could be toys.
Yeah.
And I know people that can get that shit.
Wrapping my
made.
head around that, like, you mean I have to make a 3D?
You don't have to do it.
No, I know, but this is I know nothing about the art world. I've been just faking
This
it.
isn't the art world. It's the toy world.
Well, I know even less about the toy world, you know?
Okay, but I'm just saying that we could talk about that another time. But like, there's opportunities for that. You know,
Cool.
I think you should make some figures.
Yeah, I agree. Let's we'll talk. And so I have the VR thing coming up. I'll have a big solo show in the spring. I haven't decided where it's gonna be in New York. I don't know if I'm gonna do it myself or with the gallery. It'll be great. I love doing that shit. I love making experiences. I love fucking people being like, "How the fuck did he do that?" I'm like, I don't know. I just did. You know, that's what I like.
I just did.
Yeah, let's do some collaboration, maybe on some Chinese shit too. You know, do like a Chinese restaurant type thing.
That'd be great.
Okay, so if anybody wants to find all this shit out, they just follow you at Hanksy NYC on Instagram.
Yeah, I actually own the @Hanksy Instagram. I'm just camping on it, and I don't know why I haven't switched over yet. But
Yeah, well, that's a question for another time.
@Hanksy NYC and Twitter and Instagram.
It's easy. It's easy.
Everyone knows.
Everybody has Google. Thanks everybody for watching another episode of the Super Suck Hour. Sucklord in the house. You know all the fucking details. I'm not gonna give it to you. Hanksy, thanks for coming in. You were fucking great. Peace out, Jcorp. Well done today. Nasty Neil, it's great to have you back.
Sweating bullets over here.
Swagging them. It's actually, I don't give a fuck. It's like it's summer. You sweat. Big fucking deal. Thanks everybody.
$20,000
Good night.
right here.
Woo.